So this is my Jaguar XF-R 2011 and the DAB doesn't work. It's greyed out. So I'm going to take out the DAB and see if we can fix it. I've bought a second-hand DAB off the internet with a 30-day return if needed. And as you can see on this one, this unit ends in a B. And that B means that it's a DAB plus. I think the one in my current car came with an A, which is a slightly older one, but I understand that they should fit. So this video will soon show you. So this is my head unit, and when it's turned on, I'll show it to you. So everything works. Everything audio, AM, FM works perfectly fine. The reverse cameras work all fine. I'll come to that later. There was an issue at one point. But when I select the DAB, completely greyed out. So it's looking like it is the DAB, which is what I'm... So in the boot on the XF-R, there is a footnote in the manual that in the this is in the boot on the right hand side. That little red one there, which is number 15, is a 10 amp fuse. Now before you start ripping out your DAB, you might as well check that, because in the XF-R models, and I think most of them, that 10 amp fuse, if it's blown, change it. Unfortunately mine wasn't blown, so it means that I'm going to have to dig deeper. So the DAB unit sits under the left hand side of the car. So in England, that's the passenger side. Europe and US and many other countries, that'll be under the driver's side. You've got to remove 4 bolts, which are these little things here. They are hex, but I have got an E14 that's going to just a standard socket set. E14 I've picked and it works, it fits. So it's 4 bolts, 2 at the front, 2 at the back. You undo these, slide the seat all the way forward, undo the 2 at the back, and then there are 3 cables. In this model, there's 3 cables underneath the seat, because this has got a cooling unit as well. So the 3 cables underneath have to be detached. Whatever cables you've got, just detach them, and then you can either rock the seat back or lift them out. Again, on the passenger side, I've rocked that seat all the way forward as far as it will go, and now I've got to take out these 2. Xbox still using an E14. It's quite tight. With the bolts undone, you've now got to take off the seat belt. So at this point, I'm going to disconnect the battery, because when you start disconnecting things here, tensions and all other bits and bobs, as we all know with these Jaguars, with the computers on board, they're a bit sensitive. So I'm going to disconnect the battery completely in the boot, and then I'm going to proceed. Okay, so this is throwing me a little bit. I don't have the X torque for the seatbelt. I have seen online where another guy simply rocks the chair right to the back. All 4 bolts have been unscrewed. So now they're unscrewed, I'm just going to push the, rather than take the chair all the way out, which would have been ideal, I'm just going to see if I can rock the chair back and leave the seatbelt in place. Okay, so I've not disconnected the seatbelt, and there are 3 connectors under the seat, because this has got cooling. It's got extra bits, I understand, so, but they all look independent. I'm not going to disconnect them. I'm going to see if I can lift up this carpet, which I think I can, which I know you have to undo this and just pull a bit of it. You have to undo it, just pop this off. It's a screwdriver. Sorry to stand around and do it with my fingers, I don't know. Yeah, there we go. It just comes off with your fingers, gently, without breaking it. And then take the, yeah, it comes up easy enough. Bit hard, but it just pops off. Well, that's easy enough. And then I just gotta, that's cool. And then they just say, pull this trim out a little bit. Oh, hello. So you gotta pop that underneath there. So, okay, it's a little bit difficult. Oh yeah, so it's just a bit of plastic trim. Got to pop that off. It slides underneath the velvet bit here. It goes all the way down to the floor. Now with the seat in, I'm going to give it a go and see how easy it pops off. It should just come off with the fingers, and that's the last bit of trim that comes off for down there. So let's just see what happens. And getting this panel out is a little bit tricky. You have to take the back piece off as well, the door trim off the back, and it just pops off with a bit of force. It takes a fair amount of work to get it out, but it does come out. And then I can see there are screws holding in the carpet. Oh, no, I don't know, I'll have to have a look. So I can get this bit off first. There we go. Right, that's just a little, that just comes off. Wow, that took a little bit of work to get that out. More than I wanted to. I was hoping it's going to be easier than that, but let's hope it all snaps in back together. Now the carpet here just lifts. Yeah, it does, yeah. All right, that's cool. So you just lift that, and it's just a case of lifting up the carpet. This is all taken apart. Got to the bottom of the trim, unhook it, and then just pop it all back in afterwards. Sort of fairly straightforward. Consider I've never ever done car mechanics before, and looking on the internet, yeah, it's all right. So I pulled the carpet back, and there it is. Don't know if that's the one or if it's underneath it, but I'll get to it, and yeah, we'll have a look. Okay, so that's just a couple of screws just to unbolt. It's only a couple of screws here and here. It's a plastic piece, and as it says there, that's the phone module. Just sits on top. Just push that out of the way, and there it is, the DAB module. Just got to undo some screws. Should leave that down where it is. So I'll just take that out, and it's just a couple of screws here, one there, and one there, to lift the bracket out, and I can get access to the DAB unit. So I've taken the device out of the car, and they aren't the same. But this is the original one that came out, that came with the car, and this is a DAB with a B on the end, as they say. So this is a B+, so it's a slightly newer model, but the problem is the power. That ain't the same. Typical. Everything else is, but that's a 4-pin. So I'm going to now have to get the power supply changed on the car to upgrade. So we'll see what happens there. Damn. Oh, so this is pretty clever. That £25 piece of plastic actually converts the 2-pin, which has a 2-pin receiver, and the 4-pin on the other end, which will plug into the 4-pin power there. So that's all fairly straightforward. Okay. So there's the old power converter clipped into that one, and it's just clipped into the new DAB Plus. Pretty cool. Put it back together and see what happens. So it's all connected. Let's see if it's worked. Yeah.
Another bridge over the Theme River in Russia as it continues its offensive in the Kursk region. Kiev is able to cut Russian supply lines and expand it.
It's time under government plans to crack down on radical content
all fixed.
Online.
So I've changed the DAB to a DAB Plus.
Extremism strategy,
cool.
which has been ordered by the